Señores, les voy a decir quién soy. Yo soy Pablo Emilio Escobar Gaviria. Mis ojos están en todos lados, o sea, ustedes no pueden hacer una puta sola mierda en el departamento de Antioquia sin que yo me entere. Sí, señores, no pueden mover un dedo. Un día yo voy a ser presidente de la República de Colombia. Y bien, me gano la vida haciendo negocios, así que pues fresco, tranquilo. Ustedes pueden aceptar mi negocio o aceptar las consecuencias. Plata o plomo.
Hello crazy ones out there, I am Verika Zadora and welcome to a new video. Exactly, crazy ones, like you have taken from my very good introduction, we're gonna talk about the most known criminal all over the world. Not just criminal, he had good parts too, Pablo Escobar. But crazy ones out there, before starting to talk about Pablo Escobar, I need you guys to support me. It is to subscribe this channel down here on the subscription button. Go down here, subscribe this channel, it would help me a lot, and you will watch all the videos and receive all the notifications. And you have other suggestions for other videos that I should talk next, make sure to leave it on the comment section below. Follow me on Instagram. I will leave it appearing up here, and I will also leave it on the description below about Pablo. Everyone knows his famous quote that is plata o plomo. And I think nowadays everyone knows how he has done his business, that was selling cocaine on the States and all over the world. And even Netflix had made a series just about the narcos. So we're gonna talk not just about Pablo Escobar, but also of his cartel de Medellin, the most known squad, the criminal squad all over the world in Colombia. How much money does Escobar had made? I think you can make a count of it, but he had made more than $50 million. Pablo's full name was Pablo Emilio Escobar Gaviria. He was born in a small city called Rio Negro in 1949 in Colombia. He had six siblings. Were simple parents, you know. He was used to have less. I mean, his father was a simple farmer and his mother was a teacher, you know. So that's why Pablo's, ambitions for having something came. When do his crime scene began? It began very, very early at his young ages. He began to selling cemetery stones, selling his little cigars to other persons. He started to get more involved into what could have he made to have more and money. What did he thought about? He started very, very little with selling cocaine. Why selling cocaine? Because the United States, people from the United States were hot about wanted to use cocaine. And Pablo Escobar thought about, there's a big idea to make a lot. And what was his first plan? To transport this cocaine to the USA. But how? At that time, that wasn't that control on airports and planes. So he constructed a plan in his mind how to bring the cocaine to the US. But it was a very simple plan. From Colombia to Panama from the US to the USA. That constantly, transferring of cocaine to USA and Medellin wasn't, there would be a time that they would be caught, and that what happens at his first caught with 20 kilos of cocaine. And what happened that, the courts and the justice wanted him to get arrested at that time. He was found with 20 kilos of cocaine. It was obvious that he would go into jail. Already on that time, he had made so much money with cocaine that he can go into the judges and the court people and said, are you gonna let me free and accept my money, or quiet money, paid money, or are you gonna accept the consequences? And that's where his famous phrase of all time saying plata o plomo actually came. Escobar had so much money already at that time that in 1989 he got into the Forbes magazine. Forbes magazine is where the most richest persons are illustrated, and Escobar was one of them. At that time, he had an estimated fortune from $20 billion of dollars. People say that Escobar had so much money that he couldn't invest that kind of money, and he had to do something with that. And what does he decided to do it? He decided to bunker the money, and because there was so much of them and they were afraid that mouths were eating the money, they brought the money under the earth because they had to, you know, they had to hide the money because there will be a time that the financial will come after them. And there are the conspiracy till today that in Colombia, in several parts, there are Escobar money under the earth. His villa was so damn huge. He had 700 people working on that villa for him. He had 6 swimming pools, 6. Wasn't one just enough? The US government wanted Escobar arrested. They wanted to put an end to all that funny story of him. And of course they were making pressure with Colombia because a man who's selling drugs is the most powerful man. It can happen. Himself gave himself to the police, to the state, but there's one biggest point that the persons out there said: I'm gonna build my prison. Escobar said, I'm gonna have my own guards, I'm gonna rule the prison, but you will have me in prison like you wanted. Wasn't that what you wanted? And that happens. Escobar built his own prison. Of course, the US didn't want that and I saw that this can't be. They demanded on get him into the US, and if there was one thing Escobar was truly afraid was the justice on the US. He also said it, and it's said a lot of times on the series on Netflix, that he preferred the death before the US justice. For actually a year and being, and the police actually got him in 1933, and there were a manhunt, and they said that they killed him, but there is no proofs that he was truly. Of course, no proofs. There's still the theory out there: is Escobar alive or is he truly dead? But it is that he was celebrated at his death like a hero. People in Colombia. Of course, Escobar sold drugs and he was a criminal, but he had a good heart. He was like the Robin Hood of that time. He stole from the rich one to give to the poor. He built hospitals, schools. He helped people. He even gave money on the street. Who rich people does that? And he was, buried like a hero for crazy ones out there. This was the video about today. The lifestyle, and about Pablo Emilio Escobar Gaviria. And if you like that video as much as I love recording it, don't forget to subscribe to this channel down here on the subscription button. And leave those things on the comment section down here on the comment section. Me and suggest me something without here on YouTube, without being that public. Make sure to follow me on Instagram. Actually, I will leave it appearing. I will also leave it on the description below so you can easily research for me. See each other in the next video, and au revoir.